If your doctor has mentioned your cholesterol or you are already on a statin and wondering whether there is anything you can do alongside it, this video is for you. Because cholesterol after 60 is more manageable through food than most people are ever told. And the 5 foods I am about to show you have clinical trial evidence behind them, not just health blog claims. Subscribe to this channel for new health videos. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which foods lower the right type of cholesterol, how each one works inside your body, and the one common breakfast food that is silently raising your cholesterol every single morning. Stay with me, because food number 3 surprises almost everyone. It is something most people consider unhealthy and have been avoiding for years, and the research says the opposite. Let me start with what cholesterol actually is, because most people have been given a simplified version that leads them to make the wrong choices. Cholesterol is not a poison. It is a waxy substance your body produces and uses constantly. It builds cell membranes. It makes hormones including testosterone and estrogen. It makes vitamin D. It helps your liver produce bile for digestion. You cannot live without it. The problem is not cholesterol itself. The problem is specific types of cholesterol in specific amounts. You have heard of LDL and HDL. Most people know LDL as bad and HDL as good. But that is a simplification that misses the part that actually matters. LDL, low-density lipoprotein, carries cholesterol from your liver to your cells. When LDL levels are high, the excess cholesterol can deposit in the walls of your arteries. Over time, those deposits build up, narrow the artery, and eventually a piece can break off and cause a heart attack or a stroke. But not all LDL is equally dangerous. Small, dense LDL particles are the ones that penetrate artery walls most easily. Larger LDL particles are far less likely to cause damage, and what you eat has a significant effect on which type you have more of. HDL, high-density lipoprotein, does the opposite. It picks up excess cholesterol from your artery walls and carries it back to the liver for processing. Higher HDL is genuinely protective. Then there are triglycerides. These are fats in your blood that come largely from sugar and refined carbohydrates. High triglycerides combined with low HDL is one of the most dangerous patterns for heart disease. And it is extremely common in people over 60 who eat a typical Western diet. So when I say lower your cholesterol naturally, what I actually mean is this: lower your LDL, specifically the small, dense particles. Raise your HDL, bring your triglycerides down, and do all 3 through food choices that your body responds to directly. The 5 foods I am about to show you each target one or more of those 3 numbers. Now here is why this matters more after 60 specifically. After 60, your liver becomes less efficient at clearing LDL from the bloodstream. The number of LDL receptors on liver cells, SHAMI, the docking stations that pull LDL out of circulation, decreases with age. So the same diet that kept your cholesterol fine at 45 may produce elevated numbers at 65 without anything else changing. This is why cholesterol tends to creep upward as people age, even when their diet stays roughly the same. It is not just what you eat, it is how efficiently your body is clearing what it makes. The foods I am going to show you work partly by supporting that clearance mechanism, which is why they are particularly relevant for this age group. Food number 1. Oats, specifically rolled oats or steel-cut oats, not instant oats and not flavored packets. Oats contain a type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan, and beta-glucan does something specific in your gut that directly lowers LDL cholesterol. When beta-glucan reaches your small intestine, it forms a thick viscous gel. That gel binds to bile acids in your gut. Bile acids are made from cholesterol by your liver and released into the gut to help with fat digestion. Normally, your gut reabsorbs those bile acids and sends them back to the liver to be reused. When beta-glucan binds them, they cannot be reabsorbed. they get carried out of your body in waste. And your liver has to make new bile acids to replace them. To do that, it pulls cholesterol out of your bloodstream. So your blood LDL level falls. This is not a theory. A meta-analysis of over 80 randomized controlled trials published in the British Journal of Nutrition confirmed that 3 grams of beta-glucan per day, which is roughly 1.5 cups of cooked oats, produced a significant reduction in LDL cholesterol across all age groups studied. The effect was consistent and dose-dependent. Half a cup of dry rolled oats cooked in water, no sugar added. You can add cinnamon, berries, or a small handful of walnuts. All 3 add their own benefits, and I will come back to walnuts in a moment. Food number 2. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring, trout. 2 to 3 servings per week. Fatty fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. And omega-3s do something that nothing else on this list does quite as directly. They lower triglycerides significantly. A meta-analysis published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that omega-3 supplementation reduced triglycerides by an average of 15 to 30%, and the effect from whole fish is at least as strong as from supplements. They also raise HDL modestly and reduce the inflammatory processes in artery walls that make LDL deposits more dangerous. And they shift LDL particle size. The omega-3s in fatty fish tend to increase the proportion of large, buoyant LDL particles, the less dangerous type die, and reduce small, dense LDL. 2 servings of fatty fish per week is the American Heart Association recommendation. 3 is better if you can manage it. Canned sardines and canned mackerel count fully. They are among the most affordable sources of omega-3 available, and they are just as effective as fresh fish. If you're not a fish eater, a good quality fish oil supplement taken with a meal containing fat is a reasonable alternative. Discuss the dose with your doctor. Food. Number 3. And this is the one I told you would surprise you. Eggs. Yes, eggs. The food that was blamed for high cholesterol for 30 years and that millions of people over 60 are still avoiding on their doctor's advice from 2 decades ago. The science has moved substantially on this, and I want to give you the honest current picture. Eggs do contain dietary cholesterol, about 186 milligrams per egg, almost all of it in the yolk. And for decades, the assumption was that eating dietary cholesterol raised blood cholesterol directly. The problem is that assumption turned out to be wrong for most people. For roughly 70% of the population, the liver is a responsive system. When you eat more cholesterol, it makes less. When you eat less, it makes more. The total blood level stays relatively stable. The remaining 30%, so-called hyperresponders, do see a rise in LDL when they eat eggs regularly. But even in those people, the research shows that LDL particle size shifts toward the larger, less dangerous type. A large systematic review published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found no significant association between egg consumption and cardiovascular disease risk in healthy adults. What eggs do provide is significant. High-quality protein that keeps you full and protects muscle mass after 60. Choline, which is essential for brain function and which most older adults are deficient in. Lutein and zeaxanthin for eye health. And vitamin D, which most people over 60 are low in. The real question is not whether eggs raise cholesterol. It is what you replace them with. People who cut eggs and replace them with toast and cereal trade a cholesterol-neutral food for refined carbohydrates that raise triglycerides and lower HDL. That is a worse trade. Up to 1 egg per day for healthy adults is well supported by current evidence. If you have diabetes or established heart disease, talk to your doctor about your specific situation. Food number 4. Walnuts. A small handful, about 30 grams, eaten daily. Walnuts are the only nut with a significant amount of alpha-linolenic acid, which is a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. They also contain fiber, plant sterols, and polyphenols. A landmark study published in Circulation, one of the most respected cardiology journals, followed over 700 adults aged 60 to 80 for 2 years. The group that added a daily handful of walnuts to their diet had significantly lower LDL cholesterol and lower concentrations of small, dense LDL particles, the most dangerous type compared to the control group. The effect was strongest in the oldest participants, which again makes this particularly relevant for this age group. 30 grams is about a small handful. You can add them to your morning oats, eat them as a mid-morning snack, or add them to a salad at lunch. The timing does not matter, the consistency does. Do not buy sweetened or salted walnuts. Plain raw or dry roasted walnuts only. Salted walnuts add unnecessary sodium, which works against blood pressure at exactly the age when blood pressure matters most. Food number 5, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil specifically. Not regular olive oil, not vegetable oil, not sunflower oil. 2 to 3 tablespoons per day, used as your primary cooking fat and salad dressing. Extra virgin olive oil is rich in oleic acid, a monounsaturated fat that has a well-established effect on cholesterol profile. It lowers LDL, it raises HDL, and it reduces oxidation of LDL, which is important because it is oxidized LDL, not LDL itself, that does the most damage to artery walls. The PREDIM trial, one of the largest nutrition trials ever conducted, followed over 7,000 adults at high cardiovascular risk for nearly 5 years. The group assigned to a Mediterranean diet with extra virgin olive oil had a 30% lower risk of major cardiovascular events compared to the low-fat diet group. 30% from food. Extra virgin olive oil also contains polyphenols, anti-inflammatory compounds that protect LDL from oxidation and support the health of your artery lining directly. Use it instead of butter on vegetables. Use it as your salad dressing. Use it for low and medium heat cooking. At high heat, it degrades. So for very high heat cooking, use avocado oil instead. Now, the one morning food that is silently raising your cholesterol. White bread, white toast, the thing millions of people over 60 eat every single morning without thinking about it. Refined white flour is digested almost as fast as table sugar. It spikes your blood sugar, your insulin response is large, and the liver converts that excess glucose into triglycerides. Sustained high triglycerides suppress HDL production. So over months and years of daily white toast, you are driving your triglycerides up and your HDL down, the worst possible combination for heart risk. This effect is compounded if the toast comes with margarine made from partially hydrogenated oils. Trans fats, even the small amounts, still present in some margarines. Both raise LDL and lower HDL simultaneously. Replacing white toast with porridge oats at breakfast makes a measurable difference to cholesterol numbers within 6 to 8 weeks. That is not a long time, and it costs the same. Let me put this all together into something practical you can actually start tomorrow. Breakfast: half a cup of rolled oats cooked in water, a small handful of walnuts stirred in, a handful of berries on top, and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil if you want it. Yes, olive oil on oats. It sounds unusual, and the cholesterol benefit is real. Lunch or dinner 2 to 3 times a week. A portion of fatty fish. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, trout. It does not need to be expensive. Canned sardines on a salad dressed with olive oil is one of the most cholesterol-friendly meals you can put together in 5 minutes. Daily, a small handful of walnuts as a snack. 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil as your main cooking and dressing fat. And if the egg evidence applies to you, 1 egg at breakfast alongside the oats. What you are replacing: white toast for porridge, butter and margarine for olive oil, crisps and biscuits for walnuts, processed meat for fatty fish twice a week. None of this is expensive. The most costly item is the salmon, and that is avoidable with tinned fish. Everything else is affordable everyday food. How long before you see results? The Oats beta-glucan effect on LDL is measurable within 4 to 6 weeks of consistent daily intake. The omega-3 effect on triglycerides builds over 6 to 12 weeks. The olive oil and walnut benefits accumulate over months. Get a cholesterol blood test now if you have not had one recently. Then eat this way consistently for 8 weeks and retest. The change in your numbers will tell you whether the diet is doing what the research says it should. One important thing about statins before I finish: if your doctor has prescribed a statin, do not stop taking it because of this video. These foods work alongside statins. For people with established heart disease or very high cardiovascular risk, statins do something that food cannot fully replicate. The two approaches are not in competition. What food can do is improve your cholesterol profile enough that your doctor may consider a lower dose over time. That is a conversation worth having at your next appointment. Bring your dietary changes and your retested numbers and have that conversation based on data, not hope. Please talk to your doctor before making significant dietary changes, particularly if you have established heart disease, diabetes, or are taking cholesterol medication. Please subscribe to this channel. I post new videos help you stay healthy. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself.